What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now, today on the table in front of us is a new knife to the channel and a new knife to the world. This is the Miguron Centurion, and I am very, very happy to have this in my hands. Before we get into that, let's talk about the company. So, a while back, mid last year, they released this. This is the Miguron Prayer. This is one heck of a pocket knife. It is S35VN, it's all titanium, it's running on ceramic bearings. It is a huge chunk of S35VN. The knife itself is an absolute beast, but it's also really beautiful. It's got this two-stage tanto grind. It's got satin flats and a stone wash on the edge up here and stone wash up here on the swedge. Look, a lot of really interesting work went into this knife, and it was sort of a proof of concept that he could make the knives that he wanted and make them interesting. And man, did he ever. So now we're here. This is a much more sort of traditional looking pocket knife for modern sort of fancy folders. It is crushed carbon fiber. It is titanium. It is M390. It is running on ceramic bearings. It has a really interesting backspacer and a very nice pocket clip. We don't have a lot of knife sticking up out of the pocket, as you can see, and that is excellent. The clip itself has got micro milling on it. I'm not sure if that's going to come. There it is. Look, this is just singularly one of the most comfortable pocket knives I've had out of box in a long time. I have big hands. I was concerned about this edge right here on the handle, but in the end, man, this thing is just, it's really built well. I really enjoy it. It is a relatively nice thick chunk of M390, but it comes to a very nice slicey edge. And as you can see, it has a secondary bevel up here at the tip, sort of a compound grind, that allows it to have a very robust tip. This is a very fancy looking worker. It really is. Now, the sharpening choil is just big enough for me to get a finger in. For those of you with more normal sized hands, that would probably work very, very well, but you're going to want to be careful. I tend to not think of it as that. And the blade has got this beautiful rise right here that allows you to plant your thumb. So while there is no jimping, you really can get your thumb in there for push cuts. This is a great knife. I was really amazed when I got it out of the box. And so as you can see, it's got a titanium ring around the pivot, and then the thumb studs here have been anode out bronze. Not my favorite thing in the world, but given the overall design of this knife, I'm happy to take them. I think all of the various versions of this, there's one that's got red crushed carbon fiber and blue crushed carbon fiber, and this is the black. I'll take a little bronze in my day for something this good. I love the shape of that blade. It is absolutely beautiful, and it is designed for work. Let's do some size comparisons, because this is actually a very big knife. Let's get the actual dimensions out of the way first. You get 1, 2, 3, a little over 3.5 inches of cutting surface on 4 inches of M390. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just over 8.5 inches overall. The grip length, if we come to right behind the flipper here, is 1, 2, 3. It's a full 4. It's 3.5 to the end of this sort of sweep, but it's 4 to the outside edge here, which means that you can very comfortably move your hand back and forth on the handle. It's very nice. The blade stock on this thing is, well, let's do the handle first, since we're already at inches. Through the thickest part of the handle, can you see that? There we go. It is just over a 1/2 inch. Which is a very, very nice and easily grippable size. The blade stock itself, we'll come back here to the thickest point, is just over 4 millimeters thick. Of course, that's on my really high-end measuring tool here, but you know, we do what we do with what we have. So this is a decent sized knife. It's not enormous. It's not as big as the Prayer here, but it is still a good size knife. Let's do some size comparisons just for fun. This is the Doug Ritter Hogue, which is also the essentially the Ritter Griptilian. As you can see, the Centurion is bigger than a full-size grip. For you Spyderco fans out here, this is the Mannix 2, which is a decent-sized knife, and as you can see, if we go tip to tip, the Centurion is considerably larger, and you do get a ton more blade. So it's just a much bigger knife than that. This is the Benchmade Bug Out, which is a small knife, and as you can see, the Centurion just completely overwhelms that. This is getting its own review probably this week. This is the CF Elite version of the Bug Out, and I'm very happy to have that. I love stuff like this. Now, this is Chinese made by a Chinese company, and I don't care because a lot of my knives are excellently made by Chinese companies. This is an expression of both art and function that really just works. Look, these are about $250. There are discount coupons available. I got this one through White Mountain Knives. You can get 10% off of that fairly easily, and it is absolutely worth your interest and your effort if this style of knife appeals to you. And it absolutely appeals to me. Again, I am just sort of amazed at how comfortable this thing is in hand, and it's just beautiful. Sorry about the shine there. If you guys have any good suggestions on how I can manage my lighting better or tools that I can use, please let me know, because this is just killing me, especially with knives with really shiny blades like this. But we'll get back to that later. I love that it's got blacked out hardware. The pivot's black. All the screws are black. All the screws are black. It doesn't have an overwhelming amount of show side screws, although there are clearly two here holding the carbon fiber down, which I'm okay with. The back spacer has some jimping on it in a really interesting way. It's got basic jimping running this way, and then there's actual cutouts in the scale on both sides. I'm not sure how often I'll need to hold this thing in a reverse grip, but if I do, there's plenty of grip right there. The jimping on the flipper is just about perfect. Everything has been knocked down or tumbled, so there's no sharp edges, but man, this thing just flies out, and you can easily thumb stud it. I love that in a knife. It is a thoughtful area of design that a lot of companies sort of fail on, and Miguron did not. It's a bolster lock, as you can see. I mean, it is technically a frame lock, but because of the carbon fiber overlay, which you get as a bolster lock, and while initially I thought perhaps because there's not a lot showing here, it was going to be hard to close, the truth is that they've done just enough of a lip here that I never miss. It is a really easy knife to open and close. And again, the action on this thing is just ridiculous. If you get it past that point, it just flies shut. I love that. And I think you will too. So I guess that's about it. I haven't had it very long. I will, of course, carry it, and I would love to come back and do a long-term review on this because I think this is going to get a ton of pocket time. This is the Miguron Centurion in M390 titanium and carbon fiber. It is a gorgeous EDC, kind of fancy-looking but worker-designed pocket knife that I really enjoy, and I hope that you will too. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Please like the video and that little thumbs up down there because it does help me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'd love to have you here on a regular basis. We'll see you next time.